Smoking. Let's see what this game is about with all the smoking. And I'm sure very church-going ladies. Pretty sure. Welcome to my castle. Don't expect everyday logic to work here. It went out the window sometime after midnight. Maybe earlier. How rude. Um... Next, I guess. My kingdom is not of this world, you see. It lies far outside the concrete, tangible reality. Dreamworld. I've tried to identify the way people reach it, and I am convinced it has something to do with the moon. Ah, lovely moon. Moon people. Some say the moon's aura can turn them insane. You've heard the phrase it moonstruck or lunatic. I thought moonstruck meant you were in love. The way I see it, moonlight gives them some subliminal permission to reveal their true selves. And so, whenever they let the silver radiance guide them to the gates of this place, they feel different. Once they pass the doorstep, they're ready to act out. A dance of horror of marbles begins. 3:31 a.m. Welcome to Big Beat Burger. If you are here at this hour, you are not exactly readying up to be a productive member of society come tomorrow morning. More likely, you are praying that the sunrise never comes. Insatiable children of the night gather round. Ah. Well, I'm glad all the Dracula things are still still popular. Hoping to bask in the afterglow of that night's victories, unwind after a frustrating series of failures, or simply fight to keep themselves together. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here greedily reveling in every interaction they have. They have no idea they are only here for my amusement. To them, I'm just a random girl sitting in the corner. Oh no, not the random girl sitting in the corner. But this is my domain. I've been coming here almost every night for years. I know where to sit, where to look, and where to eavesdrop for maximum amusement. You should get a TV. I'm basically a voyeur and unashamed to admit it. It gives me insight about the human condition. It's a fetish I'd never otherwise have gathered. And more importantly, a necessary skill to make ends meet as a journalist. Oh, she's a journalist? Eavesdropping journalist? Let's see if I can put this closer to my face. Closer to my face. Sure, this wasn't going to be an action-packed game. I can just lean back and read, I guess. As I write on my crappy old laptop, patiently waiting for the legion of negative voices in my head to get too tired to offer useless feedback, I keep my senses peeled to pick up stories around me. Of course, a lot of regular events, such as food fights, are nothing to write home about. Aside from my unfortunate tendency to become collateral damage in someone else's battles. Up to this day, I have had to wash my clothes because Coke, Diet Coke, hot coffee, apple pie, and some sort of improvised honey mustard bomb. Every stain tells a different story. Coke stains? Okay. Sometimes this hobby is exhausting, sometimes it's disturbing, sometimes it's dangerous. Although not as risky as back when I wasn't carrying pepper spray. I'm going to counter bears in this game. Still, the sights I've taken in over the years have made it absolutely worth it. I've got so many stories I don't even know where to begin. Yeah, tell us one of them. About that. Theatrical breakups, impromptu morning parties, unexpected friendship forged in the fires of senseless battle. A lady in a gorgeous Givenchy dress, ordering a box of takeout chicken nuggets, paying in cash with her hands completely covered in blood. She was asked if she wants a napkin. She said no. It was just ketchup. It was just ketchup. Two thirsty macho dudes shamelessly going for it in the corner. Husked morning filling the lobby with while everyone around vainly fights to act as usual and maintain an illusion of normalcy. A straight up kung fu fight between a diminutive cashier and some drugged bodybuilder going through a psychotic episode, trying to break all the windows. That's not nice. The big guy left the joint fully convinced he KO'd himself while a service worker was just standing next to him. Seemed proud of his work, too. A middle aged hag getting a heart attack after screaming her lungs out not to let Muslims near her food, just because she saw a white girl wearing a hairnet behind the counter. A masked couple robbing the restaurant of 30 hamburgers, forcing the employees to cook at gunpoint. Police later said they were art students, reenacting some hipster book they read. Okay, never heard of that one. This is life. This is humanity at its worst and best. Which part? The hamburger part? This is the noise that serves as the foundation for my creativity. This is the soma that keeps me going. This is Julia. Sigh. As pathetic as it may sound, these days this is the only place where I feel alive. Sometimes I think of myself as a leech, feeding on those people's stories, emotions, and personalities. Just because I'm not satisfied with mine. At times I think my psyche has some kind of shitty postmortem construct that is fundamentally incapable of honesty, but only yearns for something felt and truthful. Does this make any sense? I look at my screen laptop, 3:45 a.m. Bit of insomnia in the lady. At this point, I'm almost somnambulic, but nothing interesting is happening yet. Feels like all the customers are watching each other tonight, hoping for the others to provide some fun diversion. All these people need a TV. She's got a laptop. Put on a movie. Jesus. Some music on. This is my turf, you parasitic douchebags. Next time, go find your own. I think it's time to call it a night. The coffee is I always order so that they don't kick me out, is undrinkable. I reread the last draft I've been working on for the last 6 hours. Can I? Oh, good. God damn, it's pure trash. I know the feeling. I hold the backspace button until the Google Documents page is nothing but a calm white slate and let out a sigh of deep relief. There's no pleasure, no more intoxicating for a frustrated writer than ragging on someone else worse than them. And what target is easier than the dumb bitch you used to be 10 minutes ago? Yeah, she was terrible. I check the time again. I need to go. I have an important meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. and I have a hunch it's not going to end well. Well, if you don't get any sleep. And it's not because I am an irresponsible dumbass who's going to need a few cups of coffee to simply function as a basic level despite like 4 hours of sleep. It's because I always have a hunch things are not going the way they're supposed to. Click clack. The loud chatter of keyboards assault me from all sides, makes this splitting headache unbearable. Used to be I dreamed of nothing else but being a part of New York Lodestar editorial team. It was the first magazine I started reading regularly, the first magazine I ever bought for myself. ChatGPT is going to replace all of us. Now simply hitting the word Lodestar, it's enough to ruin my mood. Never mind seeing all these old farts phoning in most reactionary opinion columns and Wikipedia-level analyses of current events. No ChatGPT yet. Clickety-clack-clack. They used to destroy and rebuild my entire worldview every month. They shaped my thinking about politics, art, journalism. They even pointed me toward my favorite cigarette brand. God's sake. Then some talented people started leaving for greener pastures. Some got too wrapped up in their own neuroses. Some became complacent. All of them committed the sin of allowing themselves to grow older. Yeah, let's not get older. Fresh blood was deemed unnecessarily, even though young freelancers kept being bled dry. These days, whenever someone from outside Lodestar talks about Lodestar, it's because of a new idealistic contribution willing to accept meager pay while putting in serious work. Dumbasses. Other than that, the magazine specializes in publicizing pale echoes of provocative ideas I heard somewhere else a few years prior, wrapped in an aesthetic that wasn't being cutting edge for a decade. No wonder the readership is in a free fall. But even though the ship is sinking, the old guard won't let it go down without a fight. As in, if anyone from outside attempts to board the vessel in hopes of fixing its course or its holes, they will swiftly be taken care of. I should know. Been there, done that. As it stands, the only full-time staff member who doesn't make me regularly attempt to cringe my face off with my writing, Mr. Brian. Coffee cough. Lone Star Editor-in-Chief Brian N.G., the man sitting in front of me right now. Of course, he only has time for editorials these days. A drop in the sea of needs. Managerial duties hit him hard. It is the second time he lets out a theatrical cough like this. He said this piece. Now it's up for me to react, and I'm coming up blank. But what do you want me to say, Brian? I'm pissed off. I can tell you've already made up your mind, but you still want to go through the motions, just to make me listen to. Whatever, let's do this. Mormon. Brian, the guy is guilty of major fraud, sexual harassment. You're protecting a complete POS, yeah. Whatever that is. I just do this. Major fraud. Brian, my article isn't even something like lashing out at the rich and hoping they don't hit back. I think double spiral investors would appreciate being told they're being scammed. That's if. That's a big if. They're not a conscious part of the scam. Oh, come on. And even if they weren't, I doubt they'd be generous enough to protect us from the fallout. You're avoiding the core of the issue. No, I believe I pinpointed it in a precise way. If it were up to me, I'd greenlit the article here and now, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But you're killing the article just because some rich shithead told you he doesn't like it. Get real. This is not about some millionaire jerk calling me to make an offer I can't refuse. What is it about then? Because it looks awfully like it's about my bosses telling me this outlet can't afford the legal action we have already been threatened with. So millionaire interference. Oh, for crying out, Julia. Don't make me treat you like a child. You know how this works. I publish your story. It's thief versus gawker. All over again. A lawsuit here, a lawsuit there, until we're bled dry. Lots of, blood-related activities. Blood-related puns. I have a mortgage. I have 3 months mouths waiting to be fed at home. I have an amazing team that doesn't deserve to be torn apart over some... Don't you think it's telling you mentioned your mortgage first? Silence. Yes, he needs to feed the mortgage first. Just asking questions. I know better than to get into these anti-semantic arguments with you, Miss Sowinski. You're good at them. The problem is, you're not good enough. Meaning, you're too in love with the weaving of a good story and establishing a seductive narrative to get facts in the way. You've got enough boring pseudonyms with no principles on board these days. They always give you facts because that's all they can do. I'm using facts as a way to approach some kind of truth. except facts can blindside you. And Double Spiral has enough facts to water down your story to the point where it makes no sense to publish it. Their HR and PR are working overtime to deliver a convincing counter-narrative. And they are doing a great job. Won't mitigate the damage completely, but will put out every little thing in question. Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead. Quite the guy. Julia. Let me say it again. Josie Mortimer is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and downright satanic fuckhead. Do you personally believe it or not? This is not. You've listened to the tapes, you've read the transcripts, you've seen the documents, you've got the files. I'm asking you for your personal opinion. Do you believe it or not? Clickety clack clack. Of course I do, but that's beside the point. It's not. Look, how about I just say it out loud and save us both some time? We're not having this conversation because there is an actual conversation to be had. You set up this meeting knowing very damn well there is only one way it's going to end. You've got a mortgage and 3 mouths to feed. You prioritize the well-being of your direct surroundings over some nebulous concept of greater good. I get it. I really do. Yet for some reason it seems like you're only prolonging this conversation and rationalizing your decision so that I forgive you, officially exonerate you. Not the bad guy here, Julia. I wouldn't say you are. But it seems to me you won't be content with me saying just that. To me it looks like you are having the talk because you're hoping that by the end I will somehow see your way and call you a good man. Maybe I should lower the volume a tad. He mutters something under his breath, ending with a self-pitying chuckle. If only I might be protecting my ego here somewhat. That is much is true, but I am not deluded. I know that you are going to call me a scumbag by the time this conversation is over. But at least you're not a fuckhead. Oh, come on, don't turn this into a pity party. No, I'm absolutely a scumbag. And why is that? Because I'm firing you. My thoughts are scrambled. For a brief moment, the state of my bank account display before my eyes with startling clarity. The howling void opens in my chest and starts traveling towards my stomach. No, I don't panic yet, you idiot. Get more info. Now, there must be a scratch. A catch. Is it a final? They told me there will be consequences if the outlet ever picks up your work again. I shouldn't have been telling you that. I did everything in my power to change their mind. I'm sorry. They? What they? Who is this they? He glances left and right and then points towards for a short moment, and speaks up again. It's in a hushed voice. You know, the big kahunas. Can't really question them. They wanted your head, and they wanted your head on a silver plate. He's not looking at me in the eye. She has such lovely eyes as well. You're not joking. I never joke about stuff like this. It's real. Fucking hell, it's real. Damn it all to hell. All these years, this grind, my plans. And for what? Fucking asshole, you know, I deserve better. And I always deserve better, and I always end up with me going down the drain back to the sewers. Fuck. No. Take a few deep breaths. Don't lose the plot now. Keep yourself together, you idiot. The moment you show weakness, they go for your throat. Get back in control. You can't do this. I wish I didn't have to, but it is a lost cause. No, I mean, it's impossible. Julia. You can't fire someone who's never been hired in the first place. It takes him a few seconds to put on his "oh, I get it" face, let out a troubled gasp, and start massaging his temples. Lodestar had been my biggest source of income for the past few years. Not much is true, but technically, nobody ever hired me here. It was all freelance jobs. A full-time position always served as a kind of dangling carrot, a promise of a decent pay grade, career perspectives, maybe even some kind of insurance to save my failing health. And the recognition I would get for being part of the Lodestar team, a position that everyone around me seemed to respect, aside from me. Then why did I want it so much? For the security and stuff? There will be time to mourn what could have been. For now, I should act like I don't care. You know what I mean. If I let you work, even under a fake name, it would be a guillotine for me. This is ridiculous. You know I'm going to start shopping this story around the second I leave this room, don't you? Of course, I know. I told them. Any response? Let us worry about that. That doesn't sound ominous at all. Clickety-clack, clack. I wonder if I could get accustomed to one of those loud mechanical keyboards some people here love to use. Whenever I did my work here, I was still expected to bring my own crappy laptop and sit closer to the lobby. Always on the outside, no matter how hard I try to break in. A vibration in the back of my pocket. Seems like a bad omen. I decide to ignore it for now. I've been working on this fucking story for, I don't know, 6 months, on and off. I know. You kept cheering me on. I know. We have even agreed on the pay I'd receive. I know. I'm 2 months behind on my rent. No, wait, 2.5. I catch him off guard. He is momentarily taken aback and gives me an empathetic stare. He does have his mortgage and 3 mouths to feed, though. Don't you look at me this way. You have no right. I don't know. Well, now you do. Well, if there's anything I can do to help, give her some money. If you can't tell your big kahunas to fuck off, I don't think there's a single thing. Julia. I put out a smoke and light it up when I get back in control. Please don't do that. There's a smoke detector here. No worries. Nick turned it off a few weeks ago. Probably the most creative thing he's done in the last few years. Smoking time. Good old Nick, the perfect 21st century cinema reviewer. Never has an original thought of his own. He just relies on his purely algorithmic taste to stay likable. And the best thing is that it works. Funny. I used to dream about this job. I was Brian who killed this dream, making me realize Nick won't be unseated anytime soon, and offered to teach me the ways of investigative journalism instead. Wasn't a career I ever wanted to pursue, but to my dismay, it turned out to be surprisingly good at it, until this Montgomery thing happened. Serves me right. Lesson learned. Should have pushed my dreams instead. Pursued. Stop it. Nicholas is a good friend, a respected critic, a member of my team. And put out that smoke. People tell me I let you step over me. Why should I even let you act this way? Because you once told me honestly it is most important in a mentor-student relationship, and that it works both ways, and because I thought we were friends. Bites his lips, stares sideways to avoid my eyes. At the end of the day, bosses aren't friends. Must have been a terrible mentor if I didn't teach you that. You're still responsible for me. No, you're not getting off this hook that easily. You're still my mentor, and I'll make sure you take responsibility. You're getting rid of me. At least point me in the right direction. I need to get my shit together fast. Can do it on my own. Fair. Might have failed as a guide, but I will do what I cannot. And I'll do what I can. Not leave you stranded, okay? There are options. None of them are a remedy for your troubles, but... Wait a second. Another vibration in the pocket. Not a foreboding feeling. This time, I reluctantly take the smartphone out of my pocket. If it has to rain, why not let it pour? More bad news. A new email. It's a lengthy one. And the sender, speak of the devil. No. This cannot be. The landlord? Christ. I just got an email for Mila Lopez. She claims she's been laid off from Double Spiral, same as Mike Antonov and Jared Rivera. What is happened? Is that happened? I'll spare you all her insults, okay? The key thing is, it seems that HR knows all the confidential information about my journalistic investigation and used it to shut up everyone's mouth. Oh no. Hell, apparently Montgomery walked up to Lopez as she was emptying her desk and told her to thank me for being, quote, a dumb and reckless cunt. Brian goes pale. I think he has a very good reason to. You fucking scumbag. You outed my sources. What? What? Of course not. What are you even saying? Oh, don't you dare play coy. It might have been either you or me, no one else. And you know the way I work. My investigation was basically untraceable, both on and offline. Carefully picked meeting places, encryption upon encryption. Every direct quote rewritten 5 times, just in case. All sorts of red herrings scattered around. I know my shit. You know I do. She's quite a potty mouth. In this timing, did you just pass a flash drive to your beloved big kahunas during a meeting as a sign of goodwill? Look, I get you're upset, but why don't we just talk this through calmly? All of them have fuck you in them. Alright, sorry for fuck you. Okay, let's step in and fuck you. You're alright, we should. Nah, fuck you. I don't think it really matters. Fury takes the wheel, and I am just here along for the ride. Cannot do anything about it. In a deranged way, realizing you're just a passenger in your own body feels liberating. Let's just see it all unfold. Calmly. Fuck you, Brian. Julia. I've been paranoid for months and months, acting like everyone I didn't know was an assassin or a corporate spy. I know I haven't messed up. Not in the way that would implicate all of them. You goddamn. You thought you could get away with this? I haven't done anything improper. Don't push the blame on me. So what? You're claiming it's my fault? 'Cause you're never the guilty one. It's always the bosses, the economy, the obligations you have. And now, me? You're being silly. Quit this martyr bullshit. Calm down or I'll have to. You immoral shithead. You motherfucking. Calm down, for God's sake. And so it goes. I yell out a lot of words I wanted to say for a long time, but I held back. I fling a lot of insults. I've been workshopping for years, hoping I'll never use them. I break a few things. At times, for a split second, I see pity in someone's eyes. It's going to haunt me for a long time. But in the heat of the moment, I don't care. These people, no, this company, has nothing left to offer me. So at least let me take this catharsis. In the end, a security guard has to escort me out of the building. And that's the end of my journalistic career. I feel like my world has crumbled into nothing. This suit doesn't really suit her at all. I mean, you have every right to like Jesus, but if I were you, I would have already broken down into a missing sob. Dakota says this. I'd love to, but I'm just on a subway. Far too proud to cry in public, even now, and... It's stupid, but I feel like someone out there keeps destroying everything I hold dear, just to see my reaction. Like it's a prank show, or someone was waiting to record me crying. Surprise, you're fired, haha. So out of sheer spite, I'm doing my best not to cry. Fuck you. wherever and where and whoever you are. That's the most Julia Sawowski-Sawinski thing I've heard. Spite as the greatest motivator, eh? Sawinski? I remember this name. I think she's the main chick. Not feeling particularly motivated to do anything right now, to be honest. I just want to stay in my bed until my shithead landlord calls the cops to forcibly evict me. Not surprised. Shit. I know that wherever life decides to fuck you over, it's always one thing after the other. But this is too much. How much is too much? Let's recap this week of June 9, 2019. Well, at least there's no COVID yet. Not for another couple of months. I've been kicked out of my job. Well, not that I've ever been hired, so let's just say my mentor broke everyone's vague promise he ever made to me. Every vague promise. A big thing I've been working on for a year and a half went down the toilet. It's all useless. My boss didn't protect my sources properly, and now they keep trying to reach me through every possible channel to threaten me or just yell at me. And they have every right to react like that. All of my side gigs were shut down. Nobody's replying to my emails. Someone's been dragging my name through the mud behind the scenes. And it worked. I still have no idea who's sending these shitty messages around. I've been asking, but... Listen, don't worry about it. I'm not going to stand idly by and watch you get cancelled by some mean-spirited delusional. I said don't worry about it. I have 3 unread messages from my landlord. The message previews were stressful enough. A call came from Chicago. Apparently Dad has bladder cancer. Mom is in hysterics. She'd go crazy if she heard about my situation. So I have to pretend everything is okay whenever she calls. And she calls every day. And she just won't hang up before she offloads all her burdens on me. And I can't blame her, because we all had to learn to cope with Dad's psychopathic tendencies somehow. I was robbed. All my documents and what little money I had gone. I didn't even know when or where it happened. And it's driving me crazy because I'm always extremely wary of pickpockets. The list goes on. I don't want to sound paranoid, but it really feels like a concentrated attack. Paranoid is good. Anyway, I know you always hand-wave the topic away, but just remember that if anything happens, my place is your place. You don't have to get through it alone. I do. I've been a trouble magnet, and as self-centered as I may be, I don't want it to affect you. I know. Listen, I have another call. All right. Call me if anything happens, no matter how dumb it seems, okay? And swing by whenever you can. Oh well, thank you. Bye-bye. I put my phone away, exhale, and blankly stare in front of me. Christ. I glance at my reflection in the window. Just look at this idiot. Whenever a situation requires me to dress formally, I still feel a bit like a child cosplaying as an adult. Yeah, that suit doesn't suit her. Should have been following the dress for the job you want advice, and continued dressing like a trust fund kid who keeps partying on Brooklyn rooftops for years without a care in the world. What? I assume they also wear some sort of suit, though. It is only after a while that I realize the car is empty. Unnaturally so, I feel uneasy, but someone enters my peripheral vision. Mhm. That's the last thing I consciously register. The world dissolves. When I come to, I am out of the subway, standing in a dark alley I don't recognize. Vampire time? Morbid time? It's pretty dark. My eyes start adjusting and I try to figure out what happened. There's a gun in my hand. A faint silhouette at my feet. It's not moving. Somebody stands in front of me, covered in shadows. I cannot fully make out her face, but she's staring at me with a visible intent. She speaks. Her voice is raspy and androgynous, her tone hateful and mocking. Aren't you a nasty one? What's going on? Who are you? Don't play coy. My mind goes blank. I look at the background. There's a body riddled with bullet holes, and I recognize who it was. The corpse belonged to Mike Antonov, one of the double spiral whistleblowers, my source. He was just threatening to get back at me a few hours ago. Before I can feel even the tiniest bit of compassion, I face a terrible realization. They will think I'm guilty. Oh my god. Am I guilty? How is this real? What happened to him? Listen, what happened to this guy? This guy? Again, don't play coy. You knew him. He was mad at you. You started telling him sob stories about your situation. He wasn't having none of it. You got mad. Things escalated. He died. This isn't true. It's plausible, but that doesn't make it true. Or does it? This is just a nightmare. It doesn't even make sense. It must be a dream. And if it wasn't, the person in front of me must be responsible. There is a faint voice in my head screaming that it's her world and I am living in it. What the fuck have you done to me? Nothing yet. But I'll do what I can to get you locked up for life. This is murder in the first degree. Special circumstances. Her detached voice and nonsensical tone only reassures me that this can't be real. I refuse to believe it. Before I even manage to think this through, I point the gun at her. If I did murder him, you wouldn't be acting like that. You wouldn't be standing in front of me. You'd be running away, calling the police, begging for help, yelling that I'm a psycho. Oh, you are a psycho, but I'm not a coward. I won't let you walk out of here alive. This doesn't make a single lick of sense. Tears well up in my eyes. Why are you doing this? Because sometimes one has to confront what they're really made of. There's no two ways about it. She's got to be nuts. Slowly but surely, she starts walking towards me. Stop it there, or I'll shoot. Go on. It is the only way you can get off the hook, isn't it? The only way you can survive. But you will definitely prove you are the monster I claim you are. What the fuck is this tone? So controlling, inauthentic, patronizing. I'm serious. For your sake, you'd better be. She keeps getting closer. Maybe I did kill Antonov. Maybe I don't deserve to die. Maybe it's less tiring not to live. Maybe I should just let her take care of me. Maybe I'll just wake up. Or maybe this insane reality needs to be rejected as violently as possible. Maybe a world that wants to destroy me deserves to be destroyed. She's right in front of me. It's now or never. Don't shoot. I won't shoot. Just help me. Please help me. I will. She yanks the gun out of my hand with ease. Her strength is horrifying, actually, and turns it against me. She then pulls the trigger. With a gaping hole that where my heart used to be, fall down onto Antonov's body. If it's any consolation to you, if that's the way you are, there's no chance you are ever going to amount to anything. I've just hastened the inevitable. You're a loaf life, not even worth drinking. I'm just angry at myself for wasting so much time and resources to give you a second chance. Sierra wanted me back in Chicago as soon as possible. She'll have to wait a bit longer. Well. I have no idea what she's talking about, but I am in no condition to care anymore. The comfort of death will come, for kind and thy kind alike. Well, this was a fun game. I suppose we should have tried to shoot her. Ah, 10 out of 10. Jesus, so many people working on this. They could have gotten some voice actors. Or gotten me a beer or something. Yeah, okay. No, I can't even load. Okay. Let's try again, I guess. Empty. Didn't even save. Welcome to my castle. What are these? Julius Strait. That's a log. What about this? Weird. So I just have to go through all this crap all over again. You're protecting a complete POS. What about that? Your sources are not a problem. What? Avoiding the Cornish. Oh, don't think it changes much. I wonder if being another type of fuck there will help me. So, did this thing fill up? Oh, no, just a log. Okay. Nope. Oh, let's just move out of here. I don't think any of the choices here even matter, even if I try to stop at them. Damn, it took me like an hour to get to this point. All this rhythm. Okay. Got the lady, the gun. See here, what have you done to me? You've done something to me, haven't you? Back in the subway. That was you, wasn't it? A man is bleeding out at your feet and you're turning this around on me somehow. I haven't done anything to him. Again, don't play coy. Yeah. Dum. It's now or never. Okay, it's shooter. Close my eyes and squeeze the trigger. A loud bang echoes through the alley. I'm afraid to look at what I've done. I've been to a shooting range once and felt absolutely horrified by pistols. Such a small thing, but it can easily puncture a hole in the fabric of reality. Now, never knew I'd been able to use it against another human being. The very thought makes me want to puke. You were a right choice after all. I'm so glad. Oh no. You haven't allowed yourself to break, but you've crossed the line I needed you to cross. There's a silent flame in you that could become an inferno if left unchecked. I sure hope it will. It would have been funny if he killed me now as well. She's still alive. Her voice is coming from behind me. She puts her hand around my waist. Her cold mouth touches my neck. Oh boy. I feel my shit getting violently torn off. Shirt. Shit. Well, that comes later, I'm sure. I don't understand. But I feel too dazed to protest. It was a terrible suit anyway. It's fine. This was your final test. Congratulations. You've proven yourself worthy. I can feel something sharp sliding in to my neck. It is not too painful, just startling. Think a doctor pushing a needle into your vein without a proper warning. Then it hits me. Pure bliss. The dopamine receptors I've considered completely fried until now suddenly recover and start bombarding me with pleasure I've never known before. I finally let tears go. They come flooding. They've been waiting for years. It's such a relief. Is it raining? I feel like I'm in the middle of a deluge, at least, washing away all my fears and all my sorrows, all my anger, all my pain, all my ego. Become one with the world, the woman and the woman behind me. She's holding me tight, making me feel like the only important thing in this world. Everything else blurs. I feel something intense towards her, something I've never felt before. Is this love? Hope it is. This is not you, hisses a familiar, cynical voice in the back of my head. It is okay, I never felt particularly fond of me anyway. New York, you're perfect. Oh, please don't change a thing. He who laughs in the shadows always has the last laugh. Hallelujah, praise be. When everything is cliched, nothing is. Isn't that the ever distant utopia I've been chasing all along? People on other trains, I hope you're doing fine. God, shut up, just enjoy it. You finally understand. She's making love to me. She's giving birth to me. She's burying me. I'm pretty sure I've been dead for a while. I'm pretty sure I could stare at my own corpse in her hands from a distance. For a moment, somehow. And then I am alive again. She lifts her mouth from my neck. No, wait. I taste blood in my mouth. Was I drinking her blood too? I realize that whatever this is, it's over, and I have to bask in the afterglow while I still can. I am also immediately understand that I'm going to chase this feeling for the rest of my existence. Finally, she lets out a whisper which concludes the ceremony. No matter what happens next, don't forget, you're a monster. But you were lucky enough to be born into a world of monsters. So don't you ever mourn that fact. Embrace it. Well, isn't that nice? We survived the intro. I once again find myself in Big Beat Burger. Familiar surroundings, faces I recognize. Mood same as it ever was. Still, I process it in an entirely different way. It all frustrates me now, or more precisely, makes me frustrated with myself. It's like I'm clinging to the remnants of a cocoon I've outgrown. Ugh. It's the same with these cigarettes. I don't need them anymore. So why do I keep holding on to them? Fucking hell. It's like I refuse to accept that I am something better than I used to be. A vampire. Just 2 nights ago I met Karen. She embraced me, by which I mean turned me to a kindred. She calls herself my sire, and I her child. Child? Child. Last night she taught me the basics of survival, drinking blood, manipulating humans, bending steel, controlling shadows. Oh, nice, she can be a steel worker. She doesn't need to be a reporter anymore. She's like Bender from Futurama. Excellent. Bite my shiny metal ass. Tonight I expected more lessons. Instead, she just told me to go out and enjoy myself. What's the catch? I asked. To which she responded, I might kill you if you prove to be a disappointment. Oh no. Might die again. There are a few rules I have to uphold to the Masquerade. I cannot contact anyone I knew as a human. I cannot let anyone realize I am not human anymore. I cannot embrace anyone, and so on. Why not? She embraced you. Otherwise, I am free to do whatever I want. But for some reason, the first thing I did was to come back here. Old habits die hard. Karen is probably watching me from somewhere even now. The way I understand it, tomorrow night, she is supposed to introduce me to the Camarilla, a local society of vampires. Turns out they are the ones who have been systematically ruining my life lately. All part of some secret evaluation I'm barely passed. Just imagining the reach they have makes me dizzy. After they destroyed the old me that I barely cared about, Karen rebuilt me anew. A new hand, her test, left some scars that will heal, that will take time to heal. On the other hand, maybe I should just be grateful. I am snapped out of my thoughts by a sudden scream. Some douchebag yelling about his French fries not being salty enough. I think this is my cue to leave. Permanently. Goodbye, BBB. Hope I never see you again. I am destined for greater things, you see. A retributive justice. A meathead bully and his unfortunate victim. I probably shouldn't interfere, but what better choice though could I find to test whatever I've become? Dance Macabre? Oh, I like that song. It's pretty cool. Time to swing a little more on the devil's dance floor. And the risk of swiping right. This Tinder addict smells like a bit of a loser, a wannabe intellectual, a perfect source of nourishment. Let's do some retributive justice. Two men are facing each other in a dark, black alley. One of them stands with his back against the wall, his chest heaving as he's struggling to catch his breath. Valeantao. Oh, some sort of Portuguese fellow. People. Anybody out here? I'm being robbed. A brawny, rugged man is yelling at metal staircases with a theatrical incredulity in his voice. With a lively step, he dances around an older man who's having trouble finding his footing. Vitima lastimavel. What is this bullshit? Oh, so now you can talk. Good. Because I'm dying to hear what you did with my wallet, Holmes. Wallet? I have no idea what you're talking about. The goon starts prancing around like a Muay Thai fighter. He's smiling, but his eyes sent a clear message. You're cornered, buddy. Don't try to pull a fast one on me. Come on, homeboy. You may be able to trick an average Joe on the street with your act, but I'm a fighter. And I recognize a fighter. It's like an animal thing. It's an instinct thing. You've got some moves on you. You're like shit. You're like a black mamba. Lightning fast reflexes. He starts shadowboxing for a moment. The man definitely got energy to spare. However, I am a king cobra. You've met your match. Two apex predators now locked in battle. Ah, so you're seeing snakes? That would explain some. Before he's able to finish, a sucker punch knocks the air right out of his lungs. The old man slides down the wall. Before he can let out a groan, he is interrupted by a brutal kick to the chest. That's what I'm talking about. Fighting spirit, even when you're cornered. Ugh. Take a seat. Deep breath. Collect your thoughts before you speak up again. Remember where you put my wallet now? I'm pretty sure you broke my rib. An eye for an eye, a rib for a ribbing. Biblical punishment. It's only fair, homie. Fair? At least admit it. This is a mugging. My wallet. Wallet my ass. Still in deny? Okay. Let's say I had about 5,000 bucks in there. Give me 6 grand and I'll let you walk away. Relatively unharmed. So you admit it. Admit what? That this is not about proper compensation. This is a robbery. Look, buddy, this is beginning to bore me. Unless you want me to go to Anderson Silva, all Anderson Silva on your ass, give me what I want. No idea who that is. Anderson Silva? Yeah, he doesn't know either. Yeah, Anderson Silva. A flying knee meeting your solar plexus. The man, the myth, the legend. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Thai boxing, Western boxing, Taekwondo, Wing Chun, Capoeira, Capybara, combined into single fighting style that can only be described as straight-up murder. The name is Portuguese then, if it's Brazilian things. I've been studying the glorious singularity that is Anderson Silva for years. Every move I have, I owe to him. So if you don't want the snake to turn into a deadly spider, show me the money, honey. Summer 2013, Las Vegas. Huh? Watched it live, a pay-per-view event. Wayneman saw through all the Silva tricks. Whooped his ass, broke his spirit. Showed him for a fraud he is. The man hasn't been the same ever since. All the empty showboating, hollow taunting, drunk on his own Kool-Aid. Jesus, of course you idolize him. Asshole. For a good minute the goon silently looks down at the whimpering man at his feet. Chewing on his lower lip, when he finally speaks up, his voice betrays an intent to kill. You know what, homeboy? Screw the money. This is a matter of honor now. My thoughts exactly. Huh? He raises his fists. You've got ourselves a mixed martial artist expert here, huh? For your own sake, I hope you can back that talk with some self-defense skills, homie. Well, this is pathetic. Boasting your self-esteem by beating up an injured old geezer. God damn, you're pathetic. Ooh, we changed our dress code. For some reason, we have a cross at our neck. But yeah, this is much better than that suit. He jumps at the sound of my voice, turns my way in a blink of an eye, and immediately assumes a combat stance. His reflexes are sharp. Looks like he has, at last, this much to back up his bravado. Wannabe Anderson Silva face betrays his utter confusion upon seeing me. He's got no idea how I managed to sneak up upon him. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be able to explain it myself. It feels like I become one with the darkness, my pure consciousness traversing a dusky dreamscape, jumping from one shadow to another as if they were different trains of thought. I think of some experience I've had with psychedelics, every blink an adventure. I was outside of the alley, blink. I was above the alley, blink. Now I'm in front of this guy. And he pisses me off. The older man slumps down, looks like he was trying his best to keep it together and gave up once the cavalry arrived. The goon regained his composure and barks at me in an overly gruff way. The hell you sneaking around here for, chica? Move along. This is between men. Not anymore. His fists turned towards me. I'm serious. An equal opportunity ass kicker. I like this guy. He's an equal opportunity ass taker as well, I'm sure. I respond to the threat with the brightest and most innocent virginal smile I can put on. That's not a smile, though. That's one of the most evil glares you can put on a face. Also, those glowing guys. Jesus. You could have drawn her a little sweeter. So you're into shadow boxing, huh? Something comes over me. I feel the darkness embrace me, whimpering sweet nothings in my ear, pumping me for what's to come. A reverse elbow, crane kick, low spinning sweep. I always wanted to try this. I zoom in, duck below his fists and sweep him off his feet with a powerful roundhouse kick. Ah, nice. She's some sort of a... What's the guy? Chuck Norris. It's probably the dumbest, fleshiest things I could have done, but I'm feeling more confident than ever. He flies into the air, only managing not to fall because of the wall behind him. I know what he's thinking. I should have blocked it. And he should have. But instead he just flailed his arms hopelessly as if he suddenly found himself in front of an oncoming train. A primal expression of fear that suddenly and completely took him over. I don't know how I look right now, but judging by his expression, my best guess is like a gaping maw of some primordial beast. I follow up the surprise attack with another punch to the solar plexus, or at least my nearest estimate. Once again, the effect terrifies even me-self. Looks like my hunch was correct, and I hit the right spot. He falls to the floor, whining like a wounded animal, tears streaming from his face. I let him collect himself a bit, and then grab him by the chin. Learn to choose your battles, homeboy. Let me go. Let me, for Christ's sake, just let me go. I kick him in the direction of the alley entrance. He staggers off, quickly disappearing from my sight. I check on the victim. He looks like he's conscious. Wow, you whooped his ass, girl. But he hasn't noticed anything out of the order. Good. I was getting worried I might have overdone it a bit. That woman did say I was keeping a low profile would be crucial if I want to survive. You alright? Need help? He manages to stand up. His smile is strained, but it suggests he's fine, or at least trying his best to seem fine. No, you gave me all the help I needed and then some. Thank you, miss. What's your name? Jessica. Thanks, Jessica. I was worried for a second, but this asshole's bark was worse than his bite. He's probably in worse shape than me now. I guess that counts as a victory. I'll better be going. My wife is probably worried sick. But before that, is there anything I could do to repay you? Wallet, please. Oh, that's perfect. Let's be the assholes. The last time we tried not being an asshole, that lady killed us. Yes, there is. Wallet, please. He gives me a puzzled stare and laughs uncontrollably. Then he realizes I'm serious and goes pale. Not this again. Oh. This might have gotten lucky with that washed up Silva wannabe, but I'm basically Joanna somebody. They're way too. Jederinsky? Zik? I don't know. You don't want to mess with me. Wallet. He considers his options for a moment before breathing out a deep sigh of frustration and passing me the wallet. Jodorowsky, huh? You're an MMA fan? An ex-copywriter. It used to be my job to know all sorts of useless garbage. He raises his eyebrows and then gives the wallet in my hand. One last longing glance. Don't even think about it, Black Mamba, unless you want your friends to hear about a scrawny copywriter girl kicking your ass. What an unconvincing threat. I want to crack up at the tone of my own voice. Just a completely botched delivery. Still, somehow it works. The man makes a quick exit. Well, as quick as his limp lets him. I peek into the wallet. 5,000. No, $5,500. Wow. Why is this guy carrying so much cash? Who the hell carries this much cash on them? My guess is it wasn't obtained legally. I just hope they're the real deal and not marked bills or whatever. Seems that my rent has just been taken care of. Jesus. The future's looking bright. Oh, so apparently half the night is gone. I can't. Can I? Might not be able to do all of them. What the hell is this? The club reeks of teeth and I love it. Okay, what the hell is this? I've been here quite a few times, but I've never seen anything this breathtaking. Everyone around me is whacked out of their minds. And they keep dancing madly. The spirits dance beside them. Spectral silhouettes phase in and out of existence, becoming more visible the more intense music grows. It looks like a bizarre ritual, a profane mass. Profane mass? I notice it's the voice samples the ghosts react to strongest. The most suggestive ones cause them to appear distorted, even tormented. A spectral. It is as if something was struggling to be born out of the harsh sounds, and the dead were hoping to be reborn alongside it. They are all uneasy, quivering with desire for something far beyond their reach. Probably the same as when they were alive. Sometimes the living dancers spot their dead counterparts. It's usually the most manic ones who notice something out of the corner of their eye. For only a split second, but they never realize what they've glimpsed. Some apparitions dance to a completely different tune than the rest of us. One only can they can only hear. They seem the saddest. The spectacle is eerie at times, it's unbearably melancholic. Above all, it's beautiful. People dancing with ghosts. Okie dokie. I keep on moving to the rhythm until I reach the trance-like state, and then something even stranger happens. Every now and then, when I brush against someone, a fragmentary vision appears before my eye. A car burning on a freeway, an outstretched hand in the depths of the sea, a man jumping out of the skyscraper window. I mean, the freeway and the skyscraper makes sense, but the guy drowning in the depths of the sea, why is he here? Why is he in the city? Shouldn't he be at the bottom of the sea or something? Memoirs of the past, preventable visions of the future. I have no idea what it means, but I'm strangely eager to find out. So many crosses. And she has a lock on her neck. And then there are dances like her, ones that aren't ghosts, humans, or even vampires, but something else altogether. Party people. This world is full of mysteries, and I plan to get to the bottom of all of them. Smack that bottom. But for now, I just want to dance. Wow, what a night. She standing on top of... She's some sort of a Batman over here. I watch Times Square from above. It's beautiful. Never thought this place could make me emotional, to be honest, but here I am, feeling deeply moved. Who would have thought? Getting up here was surprisingly easy, all things considered. It took more thought than physical effort. Earlier tonight, I started experimenting with this body's limits. I realized I can jump over small buildings and climb steep walls with an ease. And my whole perception of space is shifted. So she's part Superman and part Spider-Man. And she's perching like a Batman. Excellent. I planned a scenic route across the rooftops. I did my best to avoid attracting attention. Just as I was told, stayed in the shadows as much as humanly possible. I spot a drone from afar. For a second I feel uneasy. But I remember what she told me. Machines won't get a clear view of me anymore. Camera footage, photos, it's all glitched out or blurry. I guess there are some picture-taking things that use mirrors, but they're also like literally mirrorless cameras. Wouldn't take it for granted if I didn't try to catch my reflection earlier. I couldn't see my face clearly, not in the mirror, not in a puddle. My face was like one of Dali's clocks. How do you put makeup on, though? Oh, it must be hard. All that mascara running. She told me to keep a low profile regardless. Someone might take note and track you down. She didn't care to elaborate, but I didn't sound encouraging. Suddenly it hit me that I might never be able to see my own face again. I won't even be able to take care of my looks by myself. And what about long-term psychological effects? Ah, yeah, that's right. You could put someone else to do your makeup and stuff. That's fine. A knot of anxiety tightens in my stomach. Jesus. This is probably just the tip of the iceberg. What else is going to change? Calm down. Wait a second. These past few nights have been the best of my life. For years. I was on a downward spiral. Failing health, no future, a feeling of overwhelming powerlessness. Now everything has been flipped upside down, a total paradigm shift. A bad ending is no longer the only option. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow. I forgot how that feels. Where I used to stand at mere seconds at midnight, the doomsday clock has been efficiently turned off. A cold breeze brushes my cheek. Stupid as it sounds, I choose to read it as the word telling me to chin it up. I can't bend anyone to my will. I am capable of superhuman strength. I'm a master of shadows. Oh, she can bend stuff. Okay, Bender. I can even pay my rent in Brooklyn, of all places. I can do anything. Tomorrow night I will be introduced to my duties. If everything goes according to plan, I will become a New York representative of Clan La Sombra. Oh, did I click that and the day passed? I won't be able to choose from the other ones? Whatever they are, whatever that means, I have no idea what to expect. But tonight is tonight. I am free. All my worries from months ago feel like they belong to someone else. Finally, there are things are looking up. So I guess the day does pass if I click that. March 2020. Well, that's pandemic time. Back at the Big Beat Burger. Familiar sounds, familiar smells, familiar faces. Yet again, I am recalling that night when everything finally seemed to change for the better. I mean, it's not like I wasn't expecting everything to go back to the old depressing normal. Even in the thick of things, the rational part of me recognized my state as temporary. But all these nights, there's always been hope, and it won't end. Or maybe an ego death will finally occur. Be satisfied, you stupid fucking bitch. I command you. There's all the logical evidence for you should be satisfied. There's the obvious direction of your life, and here is a detailed explanation of how you should treat the people that care for you. No dice. Always fall back into the same old habits. It's like they're encoded into my DNA. The aimlessness, the powerlessness, the spiritual exhaustion, these damn fast food trips. The stupid fucking self-loathing now amplified whenever I drink someone's blood. Maybe I should just blame it all on the misfortune of my birth. You do this social climbing until you dissociate, and then you're just this untethered, constantly frustrated ball of dumb desires. Except I'm sort of immortal right now, and I need to figure out what to do next. I watched this obscure Asian movie once. Eli Eli Lema Sabochani. starring Tadabu Asano, one of the coolest guys in the world. He plays Merzbow like a figure, a legendary noise musician. There is this mysterious virus spreading around the world, causing despair and mass suicides. A rich CEO's granddaughter, gets sick and longs to die, so she spends a fortune searching for a cure. Turns out Asano and his friend, played by this violent Olsen the Geshiba guy, are traveling through Japan, searching the corpse-strewn towns and fields for any unique item that can produce beautiful sounds. As it turns out, the avant-garde walls of noise they create are able to heal the infected. The CEO begs the band to help, offering them all the money they want. But for some reason they refuse, though a series of flashbacks, concerts, and vignettes, a mystery unfolds. Eventually, we realize Asano's music is not just the remedy, it's also the cause of the virus. Whenever it connects with people, they get this hunger for more extreme, more novel experiences. And eventually, they hit a wall. Nothing can satisfy them anymore. They lose all their will to live. Not even the musicians are spared this curse. They know the end will come sooner or later. This girl is saved by a mind-blowing concert, but the tragedy is merely postponed, not averted. The last shot of a Jesus-like Asano silently considering his role as savior and destroyer stays with me. The form of this movie is abrasive. Little to no narrative coherence, some weird cartoonish creative choices, the Japanese noise soundtrack, and a very freedom or hard to understand wave of themes. But at this point, movies like this are all that truly connect with me. I am in the New York representative of the Lambrosa clan now, also known as the Night Clan. I mean, aren't all these vampire clans night clans? They are masters of shadows, who cast distorted reflections and make modern tech go haywire in their presence. Last year, a few months before I was embraced, the La Sombra had joined with the Camarilla, the biggest and most traditional sect in the vampire world. The two groups actually used to fight each other, but our leaders found some intel that made them reconsider their strategy. So they sent a diplomatic message to parley with their historical enemies. I'm going to go get a drink and stare at the pretty lady. Okay. The deal they got in Chicago was simple. An unlife for an unlife. For every La Sobra, Lambrosa. I keep switching those. For every La Sobra vampire allowed in the Ivory Tower, one La Sobra vampire has to meet their ultimate end. I still remember the name of the woman who met her final death so I could begin my life. Her name was Hester Reed, a sworn enemy of the Camarilla, a guerrilla fighter who spent decades opposing them. Oh no. She was someone with far better principles than me. For what I have gathered, well, wherever she was, her execution by my sire served to convince the NYC elites to give us La Sobra a chance. Ah, nice. Then they set out to look for a mutually agreed upon candidate who would become a clan's rep in the city. My sire searched for someone who gave the impression she was more than she appeared. The local court was looking for someone they could walk all over. After long negotiations, they decided I was a good compromise. They proceeded to systematically destroy my entire life just to make me show I was psychologically strong enough to join their ranks. The turncoat special, they called it. Somehow, I succeeded. And it eventually led me right back to where I started. Sigh. I stopped writing and put my pen down. Will that be all? Valerie. Yes, Miss Duval. I hope you enjoy your stay in London. Oh, I very much doubt I will. Just like every cultured person, I think the only good Englishman is a dead Englishman. Privileged scum. Fucked up serial killer. Just get the hell out. Privileged scum. Must be nice traveling the world and all that. Hey, Caracas, Mogadishu, Shanghai. The blood tastes the same anywhere you go. The biggest difference is that your duties become more of a hassle. Miss Duval, every word you uttered tonight just made you more punchable. That will be all. Tell Kadir I said hello and farewell. Safe travels. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, psycho. Oh well. I am the lone La Sobra in this town. My representational role means jack shit. No titles, no perks, no whatever. Right now I am the court's gopher, doing all sorts of work nobody else will touch. Like what? Main duties? Being a sort of immigration officer. See, New York City is probably the biggest vampire travel hub in the USA. And definitely the biggest one on the eastern coast. Almost every kindred arriving from Africa and Europe comes through here. The local Camarilla is nuts about bureaucracy and population control, so every vampire living or arriving in this town is supposed to check in with me and inform me about their travels. Ah, this is turning into Papers, Please. Could you play a bit of Papers, Please? Well, in theory, at least, the VIPs play by these different rules. They take care of this stuff for connections and servants. But for the smaller fish, I am like a vampire Statue of Liberty, the first bloodsucker every kindred coming to New UNC should see, on paper anyway. The first after the prince, or Kadir, the Primogen Council. These things vary, yeah. I am naturally traitorous La Sobra, so they still prefer being traditional and hands-on about these things. As I said, at the end of the day, I'm just a gopher, and this work only serves to remind me I'm not quite in, just standing at the gate. They haven't even given me an office. I just meet everyone in public places, such as a coffee shop or fast food restaurant. Some consider this an insult and lash out at me, but luckily most of them understand we're in the same boat. Only here because we're cuss who need to be reminded of our place from time to time. Speaking of, my last client is 15 minutes late, and I still have more errands to run tonight. It's getting irritating. To be honest, I should just find myself respect and leave. But I won't. My sorry upbringing left me with this stupid sense of responsibility. 10 more minutes pass. Eventually, an unfamiliar woman appears by the door. She tells someone to stand by the door and walks in. Achoo! Long chestnut hair. Probably woke up anybody that was snoring at this video. Long chestnut hair, body stuck in the late teens by the look of it, a fashionable scarf covering most of her face, elegant clothes, dignified walk. I signal her to sit in front of me, trying my best not to let my impatience show. She obliges. Took your time, huh? Took your sweet time, huh? One day, and it will be a beautiful day, I will learn how to keep all this bitterness in and stop getting in trouble. Sorry, Miss Swansky, was it? This is not exactly the kind of place we expected. She's scanning her surroundings like we're in a circus. I hope you won't mind if I make it quick. I'm needed in Elysium. Name? Catherine Wisse. I swear, I heard that name before. Someone else's description of her crosses my mind. That weird lady who owns the art hole, but is never here. There. Weird. So it's her, Catherine Weiss. I guess. The owner of the art hole. The lovely butthole of New York City Camarilla. For fuck's sake, Julia, what are you doing calling her weird right off the bat? God knows you're already made a fool of yourself in front of enough VIPs in this city. Cover. I'm sorry, it's just that I still don't know many people here. So I have to go by descriptions I'm given by the members of the Primogen. Well, the description is mostly correct, outside of that one word that slightly perplexes me. Pot calling the kettle black, sounds like. From what I've gathered, it's just that your interests are rumored to be not fully aligned with the Camarillas. And it irks some folks there. Being a keeper of the Elysium is not enough for some, I see. I suspected as much, but what can I do? What can you do? She seems chill. Good. Anyway, Catherine, well, yes. Want me to spell it? People often have trouble getting it right. Forgive my indiscretion. It's just that people of your stature usually don't bother checking in with me. They usually report their arrival to one of the Primogen, and they make all the arrangements. I hear Prince Panhard is busy with the preparations of her big party. I assume that if I spared her some paperwork, she'd appreciate it as a gesture of goodwill. Besides, I wanted to meet the infamous La Sobra representative out of sheer curiosity. My interest piqued once I heard about her. She looked around knowingly. Unique circumstances. Ah, yes, Prince Ellen Panhard had trouble justifying the exorbitant rent my property would need. There's literally pennies for her. And as far as I know, she's been sitting on an empty property since last year. Looks like they got it out for you, but that's what I assumed, but it's nice to get a confirmation. Well, it's not like my clan has ever been particularly popular in these parts. At least that's what I've heard. Sins of the father and so on. Yes. Just to make sure, you've never met Hester. Do you know her? I do know I won't be here if not for her. Have you two met? No, I only heard her once or twice. We had similar outlooks on many issues, although we tend to come up with completely different solutions. In any case, I think it's meaningful that Hester died so that you could live. They feared her, now they fear you, and that's why they're keeping you down. If anyone who's not a VIP said this to me, I'd laugh in their face. Oh, I get that what she's doing. She's trying to buy my favors. Best not to act like I'm easy to please. Stick to business. Time will tell. In the meantime, I'll need you to help me with my documentation. Les documentations. Paper, please. So where are you coming from? Washington, D.C. She says it the way people in Hollywood movies say it. The way that suggests her Washington is wildly different from the Washington you and I see. What were you doing there? Take a guess. Government work. Write that down. It ought to amuse Helen a little bit. If you say so, date and hour of arrival. She takes out a plane ticket and slides it towards me. It's all there. 1 a.m., got it. Method of transit, plane. Purpose of visit, meeting with Prince. Ought to work just fine. I guess, estimate duration of visit, undefined. Right in 6 months, if you really need to. Place of accommodations, condition of intended stay. The art hole conditions should be adequate. You tell me. I tend to be happy with Airbnb. Home sweet home? I'm not certain I ever felt particularly at home there. That makes 2 of us. Curious, do you have nothing holding you here? The face of a blonde-haired friend appeared in my mind's eye, then vanishes. There's nothing holding me anywhere. I see. Prolonged silence. She stares into my eyes, and I return the stare. She's studying me. It's unnerving. I do my best not to turn away. Eventually she smiles. How the hell do you see she smiles with that thing on her face, though? Didn't you say you were short on time? Oh god, yes. Kadir will kill me. I quickly begin to collect my stuff from underneath the table. You can simply inform him I paid you a visit. He'll understand. You'll pass it on to everyone who should be in the know. You're a big deal, huh? So you're basically a celebrity here, huh? Not sure, but then again, celebdom is really easy to achieve in this city. You know what the trick is? If I did, I wouldn't be stuck in a fast food joint, being exactly what people expect you to be. Yeah, still working on that part. Good. We'll see each other soon, I hope. The party tomorrow, maybe? I wasn't invited. She gives me a pitying look. I understand. Well, if not given the opportunity, we should make our own. I'll be in touch. Good night, Miss Weiss. I wish you a pleasant stay. Good night. And don't rush these things. You've got your whole life ahead of you. And you're in the position where you can take it easy, take your time, get a different perspective. I nod and walk slowly out the door. Then I lose the sight of the restaurant. I sprint towards the subway. Slow night? I wish. You're late again, by the way. I hope you have a good excuse. Kadir al-Asmai, the mighty sheriff of New York City, is not happy with me. No wonder. I met him in front of the Elysium 30 minutes later than the time we had agreed upon. Well, yeah, Catherine fucking Weiss decided to arrive fashionably late. A likely story. She's supposed to be out of the city. You think I'm putting your leg, boss? Feel free to check my report. I pass him the official papers, the way I do every night. Kadir stares me down for a good few seconds. Then his steady gaze softens. You're serious? Wise in McDonald's? With the mask and the elegant clothes, surrounded by the smell of French fries and hamburger patties? That must have been one hell of a sight. Technically, it was the BBB, not McDonald's, but yeah. God, I made such a fool of myself. First thing I did, I quoted somebody calling her a weirdo. I wanted to die on the spot. Well, I didn't. Serves you right for walking faux pas. I've been trying to teach you to control your tongue. But you've never learned. It's been a new gaffe every week with you. Still, there's good news and bad news. The good news is Catherine has a fondness for vampires of humble beginnings. Probably why she decided to see you in your, shall we say, natural habitat. She's one of those rich art scene assholes who seek out working class greed. I did say something about watching your tongue. The bad news is she's very astute, so she can recognize a moron like you straight away. You never stood a chance at impressing her. She does have a potty mouth. I mean, we do. We do have a potty mouth. Oh, shut up. You still need me for anything here? I'll get on and straight away. I wouldn't be standing out here chatting with you if I hadn't taken care of my duties. 30 minutes is all it took to finish preparations for the big party. I'm about to see everyone off. Sorry. Couldn't be helped, I suppose, and it's more your loss than mine. I just wanted some company tonight, and you could have really used the chance to appear here on official duties, so everyone can know your face. Heavens knows your fast food job isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to, what's it called? Hustle. Ah, great. Just perfect. Even vampires need to hustle, man. Everybody needs to hustle. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Hustle culture everywhere. You don't need to tell me that. It's not like being paraded around for a bunch of Bluetooth, blue-blooded douchebags. I don't know why. Whenever I see blue, I expect tooth to be after it. Bluetooth, you know. Bluetooth douchebags. He somehow managed to give me a painful nudge in the back without so much as a hint of visible movement. Language, you fool! They're coming out. Just stand here in silence for 5 minutes and focus on not embarrassing yourself any further. Will you? Disc, got it. The first two silhouettes appear in the doorway of the art hall. An old man in a wheelchair pushed forward by a young servant. Haven't seen either of them before. Mr. Payne, the night is still young. Hope you find the rest of it pleasant. Payne, the wheelchair, I've heard about him. Addison Payne, one of the American Camarilla's main connections to the government and Wall Street. Disabled in quite a few ways. He needs a servant to communicate. Disabled vampire? Well, never heard of that before. I'd be full of resentment if I was embraced in his condition, but apparently, Payne is nothing but grateful for his immortality. He keeps writing frequent defenses of the traditions and Camarilla customs. Huh. So... you can... you can be disabled and you stay disabled if you turn. You don't get to be healed and stuff? Should we stay silent? Should we talk? That guy told us to talk. So, that guy told us not to talk, so we should talk with the most we can. Enjoying your stay. He wordlessly shakes Kadir's hand, but doesn't even deign to acknowledge me. At least his servant gives me a small bow. I return it, they leave. Kadir turns to the next person leaving. High Regent, can't wait to see you in your outfit. Spare me, Sheriff. These fancy dress parties cause me enough suffering without your help. I can only hope you haven't conspired with Helen to embarrass me with your gift. With this gift. She points to a shrink-wrapped set of clothes she's carrying outside her coat. Kadir smirks briefly. I didn't have to. As you well know, Prince Panhard displays a considerable foresight in the matter of party planning. Yes, if there's one thing she's definitely serious about is frivolities. A reasonably, recognizably mortal quality, especially for a prince. We ought to celebrate it, not oppose it. Don't worry, Sheriff, I'm a big girl who knows her etiquette. I will play your game, amuse the crowd a little, and return to my study as fast as possible. Ersing Sturbridge, High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, a hero of the Battle of New York, the biggest warlock in town. Could be a prince herself if she didn't have her eyes on a bigger prize. Well, that's a lot of nonsense there. Good to know. Warlocks and stuff. The thing is, nobody knows what the prize is. They only know it's something to do with the goal of her thaumaturgical research. Whoever tried to find what that is failed violently. Oh, I'm sure you're going to have fun. Miss Swarsky here has just informed me Catherine Weiss is back in town. It's safe to assume she will join our festivities. Oh, you're kidding me. She sends her regards. Her negative reaction intrigues me, so I decided to give her another nudge. She told me to send her regards and that she's absolutely can't wait to catch up. Cheeky. That hit of torment on her face is less than what I was counting on, but it will do. Vice. Excellent. I do love to catch up with her. The barely concealed venom in her voice clearly suggests that, in fact, she'd hate to catch up with her. Yes, it looks like tomorrow night will be very special. But for now, I bid you adieu. And she's gone. There's some kind of story between Ising and Weiss that I should be aware of. That part about sending regards. That was a bold-faced lie, wasn't it? An innocent one. Overselling someone's courteousness is just good etiquette. You are unbearable. Well, I doubt High Regent Stubbridge took it as a courtesy, considering she once attempted to call for a bloodhound on Weiss. Wow. Why? I've heard 5 different versions of the stories, and all of them seem plausible. Kathleen's relationship with this city is, odd, to say the least. But hush for now. Well, Mr. Plump. Hey, Mr. Plump. Where are the feet? No more feet. No more feet, sadly. Yep. Sad face. I was playing / reading this one. It's a lovely game. Sea Kraken. Thank you for the follows. Hi, Plump. Why have you stopped streaming? I'm sure the people want to see you watch cooking shows and stuff. The lovely cooking shows. Did they finally launch that rocket? I was like watching it with you yesterday. They stopped at the 0 second, man. Terrible. It never launched? Well, that sucks. It's a bust. 3D planted rocket, man. Hey, I'm gonna get it at some point. Not sure what part of that rocket can be 3D printed, but anyway, I'll get back to my reading here. He's obviously trying to kill the conversation, and the appearance of Thomas Arturo gives him a perfect way out. Mr. Arturo. Ah, Al Asmei. Keep up the good work, eh? Ooh. His eyes are glowing under his glasses. Of course. Thomas Arturo, an architect by trade, he is a herald, a member of Prince Panhard's inner circle, an eccentric whose thoughts seem to be 10 times faster than his words. I'm here too. Any tasks for me, Mr. Arturo? I'm always ready to prove myself. Ah, yes, yes. He disappears into the night. Well, that was brief. Maybe I should stand in their way. That might force them to properly acknowledge my existence. You severely underestimate their dedication to ignoring whelps like you. And just in case you're serious, I beg of you, don't. I've been meaning to ask you this for a while, but never had the opportunity. You really hate Arturo's guts, don't you? He carefully measures his diplomatic response. I have no strong feelings about Thomas Arturo whatsoever. Yeah, well, considering you're always listing positives about every local Camarilla representative under the moon, you might as well have called him a cunt. Language, whelp. And as for Arturo, I will share my opinion about him as soon as I come up with one that sticks for more than a week. A group of kindred appears at the art hole, rushing towards the street. Only a noble-looking woman stops next to us. She's wearing a hijab, but curiously enough, doesn't hide her hair beneath it. Primogen. If you were rude enough to stare, you would quickly notice the cloth serves mostly to serve up her horrifying scars. Kadir. Oh, and young Julia. I'm doing my best not to stare because Samira is one of the few NYC Camarilla figures who hasn't been an asshole to me yet. Still here. Did the prince require the clan of the Hunt's counsel in some matter? Yes, I advised her that no matter how hard she tries, she shouldn't expect me to wear a different costume tomorrow night. She's the Banu Harim Primogen. Just like the La Sobrak, their clan was independent from the Camarilla until relatively recently. However, they negotiated a better deal than we did. They have a Primogen, for one. Hailing from the Middle East, the Banu Harim are drawn to the practice of justice. The rules must be upheld, and every transgression punished. They don't have much to say in NYC, but the prince often seeks their judgment. It's just good PR. I trust she's understanding. Those are beautiful clothes. Thank you so much. I'm eager to see the outfit you came up with. And how are you, Julia? Have you seen any light at the end of the tunnel? I haven't even been invited. They haven't even invited me for the party tomorrow. Sorry to hear that. I trust you are pestering the prince and your superiors to improve your standing. Yeah, it's a process. Oh, Julia, Julia, you won't achieve anything if you don't keep reaching for it. Kadir, weren't you supposed to teach her the ropes? I'm trying, Primogen. But with this child, it's always a process. I can only wish you good luck then. Good night, Julia. Good night, Kadir. Good night. Have a safe trip. The art hole has to be almost empty by now. You like her, don't you? Stop with your class clown act. Welp, it only serves to reveal deep insecurities. Wow, how harsh. It's factual. Were I as harsh as you claim, she did tell us both to call her Samira. You're still keeping your distance with that primogen shit. Watch your profanity. And I don't project your fantasies onto me. It wouldn't give you a lesson about professional boundaries, but I suspect the way you will eventually learn it will be extremely unpleasant. Am I interrupting something, good folks? Oh, look at the smile on this guy's face. Even though I'm constantly pestering him, Kadir's composure is unshaken. His response comes swift and unfazed. Not at all, Mr. Van der Weyden. Heading back to your office. Oh, you know me, my dear sheriff. Where else would I go? Now that's curious. Even though Carter van der Weyden is a primogen as well, Malkavian, to be precise. Man, this game throws so much crap at you. I don't hear Kadir addressing him as such. He has no respect for the Malkavians. Hope to see you tonight. Oh, I will absolutely show up, provided I can, but just in case, I already apologized for not making it to the prince. Simply drowning in work these days. The rhythms, tempos, and intonation patterns of his voice are so familiar. Half of it sounds like JFK, the other half's like Barack Obama. It's a weird combination. Ask not what you can do for... Just like his appearance, it all feels so fake. His old money, of course, comes from a long line of Dutch merchants who originally settled in New York region, runs a wild, successful law office, rubs elbows with the elites of both kindred and kind varieties alike. He seems perfect in every way, and that's why he's so unnerving. He's a child of Malakav, and must be blighted with some affliction. But whatever it is, he doesn't let it show. Hard not to wonder what he's hiding. The celebrations are planned to last week. Surely you will find the time. I pray I will, my good man, I pray I will. In case you need reach me, you know where to find me. Have a good one. He doesn't even register my presence before leaving. Sometimes I think they're all still hoping I will simply go away. As Carter drives away in his limousine, Kadir shakes his head. You wanted to hear about which members of New York City's Camarilla I dislike the most? Yes? He shot me a knowing glance and smirks. Too bad. They're all my dearest colleagues. And I am deeply respect every one of them. Excellent. Sure you do. Wouldn't want to blurt out something that could lock you out of Mr. Van der Weyden's legal services, would you? You ass kisser. I do expect to find myself in need of good defense attorney when my broke, incompetent, and foul-mouthed assistant finally pushes me over the edge. Rude. Do you still need me here? I still need to swing by St. Patrick's tonight. Don't worry, we're almost done. The prince is coming out. The captain is the last person to leave the ship, huh? And there she is. Helen Panhard, the big kahuna, as someone I once knew would call her. the de facto ruler of New York City, the self-professed patron of the arts. Kadir, a penny for your thoughts. You should be pleased to hear the High Regent is resigned to her fate, my prince. Mr. van der Weyden is decidedly not. I suspect he will be too busy to join the festivities all the week throughout. Excellent. She turns to me. Miss Wolski, weren't you supposed to accompany our good sheriff in his duties tonight? There was an unexpected change of plans. Catherine Weiss is back in the city. Catherine is here. Now that's a welcome surprise. But what does it have to do with you, Miss Swarovski? She wanted to amuse herself. Kadir knows all the details. I'm sure it doesn't make any difference. It looked like she wanted to meet me and amuse herself by seeing the way I operate. If I can guilt trip her about my current standings, I absolutely will. Ah, so the two of you met in a fast food restaurant, my prince. I see. Helen rubs her eyes. Catherine and her love for the proletariat amusement. I suppose it will be a source of amusement anecdotes this week. If we want to avoid these situations in the future, I might be a good time to discuss offering Miss Swarovski a office of her own. We will get to it eventually, but there's more pressing matters at hand. The festivities start tomorrow, and there's still so much to be done. You'll make sure the art hole is secure before leaving? Certainly, my prince. Good night. Good night, Kadir. Good night, Miss Swarovski. We'll talk about your work soon, don't worry. Of course. Good night, Prince Panhard. A chauffeur escorts her to a limo. There's an awkward silence between me and Kadir until the car disappears around the corner. More pressing matters, huh? A penny for your thoughts, Sheriff? I'm certain an image of a keeper of Elysium stuck in the fast food restaurant will linger in the Princess Penhard's mind. You are far closer to your own goal you were a few minutes ago. I'm pretty sure I've heard you say something to that effect a few times now. And I stand by my words. Rome wasn't built in a day, Julia. As a Camarilla loyalist, don't you think it sucks that the Ivory Tower is so hell-bent on showing disrespect to my clan? They're actually willing to make fools of themselves in the process. We'll all had to endure our own hazing rituals, but yes, the current situation isn't ideal. Whatever, you need a hand closing up the Elysium? I'll manage. It's getting late. Better run. Some shadow in Chicago is probably impatient to get a copy of the reports you've given me. You've pleased one master. Now it's time to please another. Yeah, here's the thing about working for two masters. Neither of them really thinks of you as their own. Not knowing how to reply, Kadir shrugs. I wave him goodbye and head for the subway. When I reach St. Patrick's Cathedral, I am greeted by a voice that grates on me like teeth on tinfoil. So many crosses. This game. Like every vampire has a cross now. Well, 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 the prodigal daughter returns. Oh my god, no. This is one thing I didn't want to happen. Julia, please, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Uh-huh. Where's Father Leonard? His clergy duties keep him from getting here on time. He sent me to apologize in his name and keep you company for a few minutes. That's a second thing he ought to apologize for. He just wants his flock to live in unity. I'm one that's willing to oblige him. Why won't you? For the last time, I'm not part of his flock. We have a purely professional arrangement. I know you see it that way. The Knight Clan's tendency to stick close to the Catholic Church is their greatest virtue, but they still consider his relationship purely instrumental. This is why we need kindred like you to bring the spiritual change to our clan, to make them understand God's precious gifts. The closer they get to the light, the greater their shadows will become. Again, this insufferable sermoning. Benoit Segal. Here is a local nutjob and an ex-artist, a degenerate, who has some sort of complete meltdown in the 90s. To recover, he took to religion for solace and guidance. At the first, he proclaimed his readiness to devote the rest of his unlife to studying nodism. Is that like it's a religion where you nod a lot? It's like dudism, where you have to be like the dude. The dude abides. After a few years, though, he changed his mind and joined the Catholic Church instead. As luck would have it, his neophyte zeal found a major target in me. When I first met him, I was stupid enough to tell him I was raised Catholic and still identified as such. Somewhat. He immediately pictured me as some sort of a force for change within the Camarilla and set out to put me back on the righteous path. Now he won't stop preaching to me, apparently, until I become a nun. Remember, the darkest place is directly beneath the candle. You turncoats have this unfortunate predisposition to find salvation right within your grasp, and then lose your way in the shadows. Christ, once he starts, he just won't stop. I guess it's time to bring out the big guns. By the way, I was meaning to ask, got any news about Sophie Langley? A painful grimace crosses his face, but doesn't linger. Kind of rude to change the subject, you know. Rude? I was looking for a topic both sides of the conversations would take care about. You know, like any guide of etiquette says you should. Salvation is a topic close to anyone's heart, whether they admit it or not. And it's pretty bold of you to assume I still care about Langley. I don't assume. I'm certain you do. The second she retires from the public eye, you stop acting like Jesus era Kanye and start acting like Jesus is King era Kanye. Coincidence? I never had a Jesus era. Do people really call it that? Here's how it's going to work. At least it's not, Nazi era. Tell me what you know, I will tell you what they say. And keep in mind, I don't know she was your sire until a few nights ago. Hell, I hadn't even met her. She winces a bit by saying hello, but lets it go. Sure, I figured you would be prodded. You would have prodded that wound long ago if you knew. But what do you care anyway? Better let you drone on about your tormented past than let you carry on with your good missionary shtick. Professional courtesy. Once a journalist, always a journalist. He scratches his head, then exhales in a sad mockery of a chuckle. Fine then, I'll do my best to make it short. Just like you said, Sophie Langley, every New Yorker's kindred beloved socialite, was my sire. We first met some time after World War II. I left France right before the Nazis went around the Maginot Line. I struggled to keep my siblings alive with my art. Watched my brother die during the flu epidemic of 45. I was close to losing my mind. That's when she showed up. Said the sheer torment in my works caught her eye. She became my patron, allowed my talents to flourish, and supported me financially. Eventually, she embraced me. As well-off kindred, my artistic interests started naturally to deviate from what they used to be back when I was poor, mortal upstart, and I began to see the world the way her social circles did. And that she couldn't forgive. Instead of being a fan of novelty, I just became another part of the malaise surrounding her. She grew distant and then stopped seeing me altogether. I've had my share of meltdowns because of it. I won't deny that. I locked myself out of many career opportunities. But it was an important lesson. Don't trust your elders. Vampirism affects them psychologically as well. If they take an interest in you, they won't stop until they suck your soul dry, and then discard you like a broken toy. For the first time since I've known him, Siegel registers to me as something other than a Bible-thumping nuisance. Is it compassion I feel? Do I feel him relatable? How dreadful. It's possible he's strategically trying to elicit sympathy. Maybe he heard about my dramatic exit from Lodestar. Or maybe he just alluding to the way my sire left me here to fend for myself. It is only God who will never lead you astray. This is why I find your act so frustrating, Julia. You're so close to getting it, but you choose sin instead. There's Benoit Segal, I know. Always had me fooled. Let's get back on track. What about Langley's disappearance from the city? Her path was a road of perdition. Wherever she ends up, I doubt she's too happy about it. She had plans for the future of this city. Wanted to make her her ultimate artwork. She was always the vain one. And of course, you are completely sure you have nothing to do with her disappearance. Please don't tell me you're getting at what I think you're getting at. Everyone says you've been acting like you're trying to repent for something ever since her vanishing act. You've got a motive. Of course I'm getting at that, what I'm getting at that. I'm getting at what you think I'm getting at. Mama. Benoit shakes his head. You really have the devil in your heart, Julia, always testing me. Just asking what everyone's thinking. Are they now? Listen, I'm familiar with a lot of insults attached to my name in this city. Those aren't exactly compatible with the image of a ruthless killer. Killer, huh? Now that's interesting. I haven't said anything about killing. He scrubs his beard over his forehead and collects himself before responding. Stop picking apart every word I say in this completely unpleasant way. There is a statement if you're ready. Want one? Mrs. Hercule Poirot. I do believe Sophie, the way I knew her, she has met her end. Even if she's still walking the earth, she wouldn't come back here as the same proudful aristocrat. She'd have undergone a spiritual rebel. Someone has reminded her of her place. Her former friends talk of her in hushed voices. Even that servant play toy of hers went missing. No more Camarilla parties. She's done for. Whatever happened to her, I don't know. I swear on Jesus and her servants I had nothing to do with it. But yes, I'm still here, and she is not. And it's not a reason to gloat, but the more humble. I received a sign from God telling me to re-examine all the fortunate ways I still resemble Sophie Langley. And I listened. I rejected the pride I shared with her. I renewed my vows to God, recommitted to preaching His greatness. I mean, this is why we're having this conversation in the first place. Right now, when I think of Langley's influence on my life, I am grateful. Because she was a sign that got me here. And if God wills it, maybe one day you will look at her in the same way, Julia. Mental note. Whenever he cycles back to his preachy tone, it's time to intervene. All right. If it makes you feel any better, I think the only way a wimp like you could have hurt her was by boring her to death with Bible quotes. Now then, quid pro quo, tit for tat. You were saying people still talk about me. I was curious if... Oh, look who's finally here. Stalling from time worked, Father Leonard rushed in our direction, carrying a folder of documents under his arm. I assume it's the one I came here for. Father Leonard. Christ be praised, Julia. Yesterday I was told this is how priests greet their parishioners in Eastern Europe. Forever and ever, amen. It's not how we do it at all, at least in this part of Eastern Europe. Actually, I think we said each other's lines. Never mind. Another long night. Isn't it taking a toll on you? Oh, don't need to worry. These days I sleep a few hours a day. Short naps take care of the rest. She might be Polish by that name, though. They probably greet each other differently. And, right. Because she's of Polish... She should be Catholic. Polish stuff. There's always work to be done. I apologize for being late. At least I managed to get here before you and Benoit went for each other's throats. God, I was getting worried. Oh, what do you take me for, Father? He takes you for a total bozo who's about as effective at converting people as a documentary about pedophilia in the Catholic Church. Ooh, striking below the belt there. He's just too kind to say it out loud. Ouch. Hear what I have to deal with, Father? But don't worry, we'll make a saint out of her yet. Forget saint. For now I'll settle for an adult in the room. He does have a nice coiffed hair, doesn't he? He's 70 years old. That's what you are for. Passive-aggressive much? Well, he's 70 years old. Nah. He hasn't grown up. You do remember he's at least 70 years older than I am, right? As far as I'm concerned, growing up has far less to do with age than with the condition of our formative years. Here. He gives me a folder he was carrying with him, and I pass him the reports I wrote earlier tonight. Among kindred, it's common knowledge that the Catholic Church is one of the La Sobra's greatest assets. Hell, it might even be one of the main reasons the Camarilla is slowly warming up to the clan. We are technologically impaired as such, woefully unprepared to face the challenges of communication in the 21st century. Hard to handle advanced encryption when you can't even unlock a smartphone. This is where the Vatican connection enters the picture. A web of priests scattered all over the place exchange our dispatches between each other, making sure they all reach their destinations in total secrecy. I was told not everyone in the Holy See is friendly to our kind, but the most shrewd and talented usually are. You could say they're like a mortal Camarilla, better than any intelligence agency. Yeah, so I guess the church really likes these vampire fellows. Remember what happened to John Paul I when he attempted to uncover the workings of the Institute of the Works of Religion? Dead after 33 days of papacy. Rumors of the CIA and Masonic involvement. Yeah, that was kind of a tragic death. His short stint is kind of the reason the other guy took the name John Paul II to honor him. Oop. Not that the Father Leonard had anything to do with any of this. For a Catholic priest, he's all right. He's probably have made a stay a believer a few years longer than I did. He probably have made me stay a believer a few years longer than I did. Had I known him as a teenager. Leonard is intelligent, kind, helpful towards his parishioners, treats his superiors with a healthy dose of skepticism, and is not involved in any sort of political games. Well, at least not beyond helping me contact my bosses in Chicago every night or so. He knows about the kindred, and he knows about the Second Inquisition. He opted to avoid the latter in order to keep the former from oppression, because according to him, it's the right thing to do. Second Inquisition? What the hell is that crap? I can't click it here. I have to go here. To the dictionary. Haven't read any of this crap. Oh, it's the one selected. The philosophy of the Sword of Terror applied to us kindreds. Somewhere along the way, some deep state assholes decided the way to handle the existence of vampires was to treat us as terrorists. Yet the agents waging these operations against us often had no idea what the hell is going on, because some inner agency collaboration created to haunt us doesn't tell anyone anything unless it's need to know. Okay. Let's go back. I know there's got to be something wrong with him. Some selfish motivation, maybe. I haven't nailed it down yet. But it doesn't feel like he's making an effort to hide it. So I'm giving him a pass. By the way, I hope you don't mind. I finally took the liberty of asking how your parents are doing. Thank you, Father, but you shouldn't have. Not a problem. A priest at St. Stolnikus Costa is a good friend. He says your parents started showing up every Sunday again. Front rows. Your father is looking better and better. makes me feel nothing, but I still give him a taken nod and grateful smile. Thank you, Father Leonard. Now, if you'll excuse me, the sunrise is almost here. Yes, be careful, and God bless you. Amen. Goodbye, Julia. I'll let you off the book this time, but next time, you won't be so lucky, alright? It does have a cool shirt, though. I like the shirt. Looks like a painted shirt. It's neat. Sure, just one more thing on my never-reading list of events I'm not looking forward to. Never-ending. Never-reading. Yes, it's time to call it a night. I am home. Ooh. Lots of lights. Finally. You doing all right? Well, hello, tattooed lady. Fine, I guess. Why aren't you asleep? I figured it's finally time for me to become more of a night owl. We've talked about making our schedules sync better. Watch your vitamin D. It will... I'd kill to have your skin. Oh, Jesus. Would be a shame to waste it. Shouldn't have smoked so much before you got bitten, sweetheart. So I guess they're not all white. Sort of, vampirism just preserves you the way you are. If you're like some sort of a... should hit the tanning salon or something before the embrace. Like, hold on, don't bite me just yet. I need to get to the beach just for a couple of hours, please. Should have shared your skincare routine with me back when I was still breathing. I can't just go around sharing my one secret weapon. It's top secret stuff. MKL Ultra stuff. Jeffrey Epstein's current whereabouts level. I'll have to kill you if I told you. Dying sounds good. Just go ahead and off me anyway. It will be a mercy kill, honestly. Don't talk like that. Anything you want to share? Never mind. I feel a bit more self-conscious than usual tonight. Don't. You want me to do your makeup before you go to sleep? Go do the makeup after, when she wakes up. I mean, take her makeup off. Guess she could do that on her own. No need. No need. Weren't you supposed to have some sort of big party tomorrow night? I was involved in the backstage stuff. What makes you think I was invited? Because you're the coolest, cutest, and most all-around amazing person I know. They'd be insane not to put you on this short list. Believe it or not, most vampires are pretty insane. Interdimensional psychic vampire level insane, because that's how crazy they would have to be to ignore you like this. Yeah, I'd say so. Fuck them then. A big bunch of posh dicks. They hate you 'cause they ain't you. But they'll see. Jesus. How do you do it? Do what? You always assault me with so much of this weird, stupid positivity that I can't react to it without completely shifting my mental attitude. How do you do it? Oh, the answer is easy. Remember how I told you we have this spiritual connection? I can sense that you feel, that you want. You can sense what I feel too, if you really focus. Yeah, I think it's called a big loaf of bullshit. She's still a potty mouth. Said a girl who talks to ghosts. Watch this, Agent Scully. I sense you feeling down, and I realize that you really needed to end this night. She points to one of her drawers. It's the one where she keeps her supply of ketamine. Come on. What? No, wrong drawer. We're not meeting demons. We're meeting angels. MDMA. Ding, ding, ding. Took it half an hour ago. Perfect timing. Thanks to our spiritual connection. Ready to fly away? The mood isn't right. I need music. Got a special SoundCloud playlist ready to go, prepared specially to lift one Julia Solsky. Just give me a sign and I'll press play. Jesus, you're impossible. That's why you love me, I hope. I give up. Come here. Let me have a taste of you. Maybe this one time, the high won't end. So, does the one lady take the drugs and the other one just takes the blood from with the drugs? Ah, okay, so I couldn't do the other things. So I guess that button is when you just move the hell on. Okay, rest. Yeah, the thing with that it's not split in the middle, the day and the night, is it? Because of the twilight, we generally get more light in the day. Anyway, that's about it for me. Time to go. We will continue this at some point. It's going to be on YouTube. Thanks for the follow. Time to go. Oh, and I have